Hi, this is Kenny Lee, and let's work on some inclined Atwood problems. In this situation, we got an 8 kilogram block on an incline. Over the pulley, we've got an 11 kilogram block. And if static friction is keeping the system in place, we want to figure out what the coefficient of static friction is. So, what's happening here? Well, in general, we have this as our free body diagram. We have the weight of this block as well as the tension in the rope. That same tension is the tension over here on this block with its weight, and we have some type of friction. Now, we're not exactly sure. This block could be trying to slide down the ramp, or it could be trying to slide up the ramp. We're not really sure, but let's say to start off with that the friction is trying to keep the block from sliding up the ramp. So that means friction will be going in this direction, and we'll have a normal force as well. So quite a lot is happening on that block on the table. All right, now, so that's our free body diagrams. Now, the trick is deciding what to do. Well, the first thing we need to do is, since we've got something on the incline, we need to break up the component of its weight perpendicular to the surface and parallel to the surface. So if here's our block, weight is acting straight down, and so we've got a force perpendicular to the table and a force parallel to the table that we need to figure out. And whatever this angle is, that's the same as the angle here, which helps with the math a little bit. So we're going to have to do some trigonometry. So to start off with, let's break those components up and see what we get. So the force perpendicular will be equal to the weight of the object, and that's the adjacent side, so that'll be cosine of the angle. So in this case, it'll be mg, m1g, cosine of theta. So for this one, that would be 8 times 9.8 times the cosine of 35 degrees. And so the force perpendicular will be this. So 8 times 9.8 times 35 cosine gives me 64.22 newtons. Let's do the same thing with the parallel component. Force parallel will be equal to Fg of the first one times, this time, the sine of the angle, because we're doing the opposite side. So that's going to be mg sine theta. So that's 8 times 9.8 times the sine of 35 degrees. So 8 times 9.8 times 35 sine gives me 44.97 newtons for the force parallel. All right, now let's talk about some things. Now, you don't want to do this on your free body diagram, but the normal force is here, and friction is going back this way. All right, so if we add those in, and then we have our tension going in this direction. So one thing that we can say the force perpendicular and the normal force, they should be equal to each other because the block's not sinking into the table or being thrown off the table. So we know this force perpendicular is equal to the normal force. That's nice. That'll come in handy. And now we got to figure out the coefficient of static friction. All right. So over here to the side, let's list what we can do. We got force of friction is going to be less than or equal to mu times the normal force. Well, in this case, we're going to say it's equal to because it's holding it in place. If it was greater, it'd actually be causing it to move. So we're going to say equal. How do I solve these type of Atwood type problems? Well, I'll do it a little bit differently. I'll set it up like this. The force that's affecting the movement of the system equals all the force on the system. So the force on the system is basically the two blocks, M1 plus M2, moving at some acceleration. Well, in this case, the system's static, so that acceleration is 0. On the other side, what's causing it to move is the weight of M2, and then what's holding it back is the force of friction, as well as the force of this one's weight parallel to the surface. Those are all kind of taken away from the system. So since the acceleration is 0, this whole part over here is 0. So we get m2g minus force of friction minus the force parallel. Now that's assuming that friction, this block is trying to move up the ramp. If the block was trying to move down the ramp, we'll have to change the sign of that, but we're going to go with this right now. Equals 0. So that's 11 times 9.8 minus force of friction is mu times the normal force, which is, in this case, 64.22, minus the force parallel, which was 44.97, was 0. All right, so let's do this. Let's take care of this part. So we got 11 times 9.8. We got 107. That is bigger than this force parallel, so that's good. That means we did choose wisely. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract off the 44.97. We get 62.83 minus mu times 64.22 equals 0. Move that over. And then, well, actually, let's move this over. That way the negative sign disappears. So 62.83 equals mu times 64.22. Then we just divide by 64.22, and we get mu to be 0.98. And mu is a coefficient, so it is dimensionless. That is if it's static friction, so I'm going to put mu s. Let's go ahead and take care of that real quick for this one. What happens if we do have an acceleration? We have the same setup, except this time the system is bumped. That's just a keyword that says that we've hit it and now static friction is broken. So now it's allowed to slide with kinetic friction. This time kinetic friction, we got a value because I actually want to find the acceleration. So we got the same setup. So we have the same free body diagram. That's supposed to be straight down. And then friction. All right. And friction is going to be less than or equal to mu times the normal force. In this case, it's going to be kinetic friction. Same equation, just now it's kinetic friction instead of static friction. So again, we're going to break that weight vector into its two components, the force perpendicular and the force parallel. Again, that angle is going to be the same as this one from similar triangles. We're going to do nearly the exact same math. So, force perpendicular is equal to FG1 cosine of theta. So that's M1G cosine theta. So that's 8 times 9.8 times the cosine of 35 degrees. And we already found that to be 64.22 newtons. Force parallel Only thing we have to change is the sign to sine. So m1g sine theta. So that's 8 times 9.8 times the sine of 35 degrees. And that is 44.97 newtons. And again, that normal force will have to be equal to the force perpendicular because, again, you're not sinking into the table or going flying off. So that's equal to the normal force. All right, let's set up our equation. Again, I'm going to do force that's affecting the movement equals the force on the system. So what's affecting the movement? Well, it's the weight of that, so m2g minus the force parallel from this first block minus the force of friction. Again, we're assuming that it's going up, which we did in the last problem, so this one should do the same thing, equals the system. The system is m1 plus m2 at some acceleration we've got to find. So we're actually finding a in this case. So let's plug in our numbers. We've got 11 times 9.8 minus the force parallel, which is 44.97, minus the force of friction. Force of friction will be our kinetic friction times the force perpendicular, which is 64.22. I'll put that 0.3 in after a while. The mass 1 is 8. Mass 2 is 11. We got to find A. So let's go ahead and plug in all the numbers. See what we got. 11 times 9.8. 107.8 minus 44.97 minus 0.3, 69.22 equals 19A. So 0.3 times 69.22, that gives me 107.8 minus 44.97 minus 20.77, we'll say, equals 19A. All right, let's do all the math. 107.8 minus 44.97 minus 20.77 equals, divide by 19, and we get an acceleration of 2.21 meters per second squared for that block going up the incline. All right, let's do one more problem, but let's just do it symbolically. Just with the algebra, no numbers. And again, let's find acceleration. Okay, let's look at one symbolically. This time we have a mass m1 and m2, Atwood machine on an incline with an angle of theta and the coefficient of kinetic friction to be mu k. And we want to figure out the acceleration of the system. So we have the same setup. We still know that force of friction is less than or equal to mu times the normal force. We know that this has to be broken down into the component perpendicular to the surface and the component parallel to the surface. And that angle is the same as that one. And just doing a little bit of trigonometry, the force perpendicular is equal to the weight of the object times the cosine of theta. I'm going to go ahead, Fg equals mg, and so this is block 1, so that's m1g cosine theta. For the parallel component, it's Fg sine theta So that's m1g sine theta. And we know from our free body diagram here, or our vector diagram here, that that's going to be the normal force. This is equal to the normal force. Again, remember when we did the free body diagrams? I'm not going to do it again because I did it in the past 2 spots. And I want to have enough space to do it symbolically. We got the force parallel, force perpendicular, which is also the normal force. Friction is that. So I'm going to say force of friction is equal to mu k times the normal force, which is that there. The force that's affecting the movement is equal to the force on the system. All right, what's affecting the movement is the weight of that one. So we have m2g minus the weight of this one parallel to the surface, so that's the force parallel, minus the force of friction, equals the system, which is m1 plus m2 at some acceleration a. We don't know what that is. We're going to solve for it. All right, so let's plug in all our symbols here. We got m2g minus the force parallel, which is m1g sine theta, minus friction, which is mu k, times the normal force, which is the force perpendicular, which is m1g cosine of theta, equals m1 plus m2 at some acceleration a. Well, to actually solve for just the acceleration, we just have to divide by m1 plus m2. And so a would be all this garbage at the top, m2g minus m1g sine theta minus mu k m1g cosine theta, all divided by m1 plus m2. And that would be your answer. Now you could clean this up and make it a little bit prettier by pulling out a g out of each term. But otherwise, that's the only simplification that you can do. Thanks for watching. Good luck on solving inclined Atwood machine problems. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel and tune in for some more physics. Goodbye.